Good day. We need to talk about celebrity magazines of the noughties, a time when every part of your body, personality and love life was ripped apart and ridiculed. No celebrity was respected or revered. And this is OK Magazine, a slightly more upmarket version of these celebrity gossip mags. It still had its share of paparazzi-fueled stories, but it was also known for its interviews directly with the celebrities. It paid them millions for exclusive rights to their weddings, newborn children and new kitchens. This is an issue from 2002 covering Liza Minnelli and David Gest's wedding, so join me please as we take a deep dive into the wedding of the decade. Here it is then, OK Magazine from the 28th of March 2002, and the cover story is Liza Minnelli's wedding to David Gest. You are going to want to be reminded of this, trust me. This cover was iconic. Aside from the bride and groom, you've got Michael Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor and, Martine McCutcheon. There's also a story about Britney Spears splitting with Justin Timberlake and Pop Idol's runner-up Gareth Gates. Let's warm up first though with a few paparazzi-fueled stories. Do we all remember Chris Judd? He was the second husband of Jennifer Lopez. Chris was a dancer on the Love Don't Cost a Thing music video, and I believe that's where we think they met. They got married in September 2001, so they've been married for 6 months around the time these photos were taken, but they split in June 2002 after only 9 months of marriage. She then went on to almost marry Ben Affleck in 2003 and then actually marry Mark Anthony in 2004. Her love life was very heavily featured in all the magazines, and rightly so. She was a very busy lady. I don't think I could have been bothered to date 3 different men in 3 years, let alone plan 3 weddings in 3 years. So here's Chris Evans, not that one, the UK one, and Billie Piper. And this is allegedly the house that they had bought in LA to move into. So quick summary about these two. In 2002, Billie was a teen pop star, not the acting national treasure that she is now. She was 18 and he was 35 when they got together the year before in 2001. It was a huge story at the time due to the age gap and her age. It still feels icky now, doesn't it? They split up in 2007 and it seemed to be amicable. They've never said anything bad about each other or the relationship. Unlike Billie Piper's second husband, you know who I mean. Just Barbara Windsor trying on some shoes. What a legend she was. Here it is then, the main story, the OK World exclusive. So Liza Minnelli and David Gest got married on the 16th of March 2002. The couple had been together only 9 months at this point. But in showbiz years, that's like 20 years, isn't it, for regular people like you and me. Liza was 56, David was 48 at the time. And they met when planning Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary concert, as David was the producer. Do you also remember Celebrity Big Brother Series 17 UK in 2016? He was famous for something that happened in the house, even though he wasn't directly involved. David Bowie's ex-wife Angie was told about David Bowie's death in the house. And so she came out of the diary room, blurted out David's dead without any context, and everyone thought David Gest had died as he had gone off to a separate bedroom earlier feeling ill. So Angie just kept wailing about the news, but the housemates thought she meant David Gest had just died. It's absolute scenes if you look it up on the internet. That is an amazing picture of Liza, obviously. The dress was made by Bob Mackie, no notes. Back to the wedding party then. There were 2 best men, Michael and Tito Jackson. Obviously, at the time, Michael Jackson was the most famous person in the world. So I'm sure if there was a chance he could be your best man, you took it. But I find it hard to believe he was the closest person to David Gest. I always got the impression with David Gest that he was probably more interested in being famous and his status than who his actual real friends were. A few of the other Jackson brothers were groomsmen, as well as the actor Robert Wagner. And in the bridesmaid party, you had the singer Maya, you had the actress Mia Farrow, you had the singer Petula Clark, you had the actress Janet Leigh. Elizabeth Taylor was the maid of honour. Martine McCutcheon was also one of the bridesmaids. I know. So apparently she struck up a friendship with Liza after she saw Martine performing in My Fair Lady in London. When I googled it, the internet pulled up a story where since then Martine apparently said she was only invited as she was one of the few people that they knew who hadn't had a facelift. It's probably just a joke, but it is still the truth. There is a lot of plastic surgery on display here in these photos. So there was a total of 850 guests, including Mel C, Kirk Douglas, Debbie Reynolds, Joan Collins, Luther Vandross, Anthony Hopkins, Diana Ross, and the ceremony was held at a church in New York, and then the reception was held at the Regent Hotel. Here's the evidence that Martine was actually in the same photo as Elizabeth Taylor and Michael Jackson. When I go back to the cover image, I was convinced that she'd been photoshopped into the photo with them. I don't know how she ended up here. I'm only guessing that maybe OK Magazine told her to, because they thought it would be good for UK sales. Oh, look who it is. Donald Trump and Melania, who at the time was just his girlfriend. And look at his hair. It's even worse then. I don't understand. Not at all an awkward photo of David Gest with all his best friends. He looks like a little boy, doesn't he, on the first day of school? Finally, there's a picture of David Hasselhoff with his then wife Pamela. But I was reading this little interview that OK Magazine did just a few days before the wedding. And one of the questions that OK asked them was, are you planning to start a family? And David says, seriously, we're adopting 4 children. And then on the next page just goes on about how they think Liza's going to make an amazing mum, etc, etc. That's a bit bizarre. So that's the wedding. I don't actually have the reception magazine, but you can see Maya was singing here. Liza was busting out some dance moves down here. And Martine McCutcheon here, looking like she's won some sort of competition to be there. So how did it end? Because of course it did. They separated in July 2003, only a year after the wedding. And in October 2003, David sued Liza for $10 million for alleged domestic violence towards him. The lawsuit was dismissed in 2006, and then David died from a stroke in April 2016, only a few months after his appearance on Celebrity Big Brother. Liza's just released a memoir in March 2026 called Kids Wait Till You Hear This, which I need to read. And in it, she actually said about this marriage to David, and I quote, "I clearly wasn't sober when I married this clown." Apart from this blip then, she is an incredible woman. There's an exclusive shoot here between Kate Charman and Jason Durr. I don't know who either of these people are. Anyone tell me anything about them? Because I just can't be bothered to Google them. Let's have a quick Britney update then. So this was back when she was only 20 and Justin was 21. And they are just speculating at this point that they've split up. But actually, they have split up, and I think it was announced very much not long after this. Obviously going to press, they obviously knew, but it just hadn't been officially confirmed. This was also the week that Britney's film Crossroads had its premiere. I don't know if you've seen that film. It is insane. It was like a film that dealt with really serious, bleak adult issues, but sort of marketed as a young teen movie. Interestingly, they've also got a photo of Wade Robson here. He's the guy that she was rumoured to have cheated on and the reason they split up. Also, iconic image. Now I've started looking through all of these old magazines from 20 odd years ago, I've realised that one of my favourite things to look at is the adverts. They are just such a snapshot of what was happening at that time. I could make a whole video just on these printed ads. Let's just have a quick look at this one. I mean, let's not even talk about this website here. It doesn't even look, it says Big Boy Toys, but then it's got swords and knives, and that is a picture of presumably an air gun, obviously. But it looks all very real. You just wouldn't be able to do that now. I'm surprised you even did it then. There's also this and this, £1.50 a minute, And I totally forgot about these. You could basically phone the number, put in your friend's number, and it would basically prank call them for you with things like an irate delivery driver, number 10, a tax inspector, a lawyer from hell. I mean, it's really, really awful looking back at that. This, when I saw that picture, I nearly died. I absolutely remember this in like every magazine for years. It was like a sort of fake Mystic Meg, who was like the famous psychic at the time. And this one as well. This one always came up. What's with this image? I know you can't see it really well on here, but it's basically like a photo from sort of 30 years ago that looks like it's been coloured in on Photoshop. It's all fuzzy. I don't understand. Also, only £49 to name a star. Let's finish on Paris Hilton's 21st birthday party. I don't know what her makeup artist was thinking, because Paris is gorgeous, but she looks like she's been hit in the face. I don't know what was going on here. Absolute madness. Also, Jason Statham, when he was still going out with Kelly Brook. Tara Reid, back in healthier, happier days too. This has created more questions than answers, hasn't it? Hope you enjoyed going through it as much as I did. Please leave me a comment if you want me to go through any other major weddings of the noughties. I'd love to. Stay kind, and I'll see you soon.